I'm Jennifer.
Sitting here in my cozy apartment, surrounded by the fruits of my newfound independence, I'm reminded of the long and arduous journey that led me here. It all started with a simple video, a single moment that shattered the illusion I'd clung to for so long. My family, the ones I'd always believed in and supported, had been using me. They saw me as nothing more than a walking ATM, a source of endless funds to fuel their reckless lifestyle. The pain and betrayal I felt were indescribable, but it was also the wake-up call I needed. I grew up in a small town in Texas, the eldest of 3 siblings. My parents, Mark and Lisa, were hardworking people, but they always seemed to be struggling financially. As the responsible one, I took it upon myself to help them out whenever I could. I worked part-time jobs in high school, saved my money, and even took on extra shifts at my first full-time job to make ends meet. I never thought twice about it. I loved my family, and I wanted to do everything I could to support them. But looking back, I realized that I was being taken advantage of. My parents would constantly ask me for money, and I would always say yes. I never questioned their motives, never thought about the impact it was having on my own life. It wasn't until that fateful video that I finally saw the truth. I was sitting at my kitchen table, eating dinner alone, when my phone buzzed with a notification. It was a video from my sister, Emily. I tapped it open, expecting to see a cute picture or a funny video. Instead, I was greeted with a scene that would change my life forever. There they were, my family, sitting at a fancy restaurant, laughing and having a great time. They were surrounded by expensive food and drinks, and they looked like they were having the time of their lives. But what really broke my heart was what they were saying. My mom was bragging about how easy it was to get money from me. I just tell her I need it, and she gives it to me without even asking questions, she said. She's so gullible. My dad laughed and nodded in agreement. Yeah, she's useful, that's for sure. My sister chimed in. So, how much has our little cash cow given us this year? Someone threw out a number, and they all burst out laughing. It was like a knife in my heart. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. I had been pouring my heart and soul into helping my family, and this is how they repaid me? The video glitched and disappeared, but the damage was done. I sat there in shock, tears streaming down my face. I felt like a fool. I had been so blind, so naive. I had allowed my family to use me, and I had done nothing to stop them. But something inside me snapped that night. I decided that I was done being their doormat. I was done sacrificing my own happiness and well-being for their sake. I was going to take control of my life and set some boundaries. The next day, I started doing some research. I checked my phone's cloud backups and found the deleted video. I watched it again, this time with a cold, hard determination. I took screenshots of the important parts and saved them. I also pulled up my banking app and started going through my transactions. I was shocked to see how much money I had given my family over the years. It was in the tens of thousands of dollars. I printed out the screenshots and the transaction history and put them in a folder. I knew that I needed to confront my family, but I also knew that it wouldn't be easy. I was scared of their reaction, of what they might say or do. But I also knew that I couldn't keep living like this. I needed to stand up for myself. I called my friend, Jake, and told him what had happened. He was furious. He told me that I had every right to be angry and that I shouldn't let my family get away with this. He offered to go with me when I confronted them, but I told him that I needed to do this on my own. A few days later, I sent a message to my family group chat. I attached the screenshots and the transaction history and wrote a long message explaining how I felt. I told them that I was done being their source of money, that I was going to start taking care of myself. I also told them that I needed them to apologize for what they had done. The response was immediate. My dad called me and started yelling at me. He said that I was being selfish, that I didn't understand how hard they had it. He told me that I owed them everything, that they had raised me and given me a good life. My mom called me and started crying. She said that she was sorry, that they had never meant to hurt me. She told me that they were just going through a tough time and that they needed my help. My sister sent me a message saying that I was overreacting, that it was just a joke. She told me that I needed to lighten up and stop being so sensitive. But I wasn't going to let them manipulate me anymore. I stood my ground and told them that I wasn't going to change my mind. A few days later, my dad called me and said that they wanted to have a family meeting. He said that they wanted to talk things out and try to work things out. I was hesitant, but I decided to go. I knew that it was going to be a difficult conversation, but I also knew that it was necessary. The day of the meeting arrived, and I drove to my parents' house. I was nervous, but I was also determined. I walked into the house and saw my family sitting in the living room. They all looked uncomfortable, like they knew that this was going to be a tough conversation. We sat down at the table, and my dad started talking. He said that they were sorry for what they had done, that they had never meant to hurt me. He told me that they were going through a tough time and that they had made some mistakes. He said that they wanted to make things right, that they wanted to start over. I listened to him, but I wasn't convinced. I told him that I appreciated his apology, but that I needed more than just words. I told him that I needed them to show me that they were willing to change, that they were going to stop using me. I also told him that I needed them to respect my boundaries, that I wasn't going to be their source of money anymore. My mom started crying again. She said that she understood how I felt, that she was going to do everything she could to make things right. She told me that they were going to get their finances in order, that they were going to start living within their means. My sister sat there in silence, looking down at the table. She didn't say a word. I knew that she was still angry with me, that she didn't agree with what I was doing. But I didn't care. I was done trying to please her. In the end, we agreed to a few things. My parents promised to get their finances in order and to stop asking me for money. They also promised to respect my boundaries and to treat me with the respect and love that I deserved. I agreed to give them a chance to see if they were really willing to change. It hasn't been easy. There have been times when I've wanted to give up, when I felt like it was all too much. But I've also seen some positive changes. My parents have been more responsible with their money, and they've been more supportive of me. They've even started to appreciate all the things that I've done for them. As for my sister, we're still not on the best terms. She's still angry with me, and she's still trying to manipulate me. But I'm not going to let her get to me. I'm going to keep standing up for myself, and I'm going to keep moving forward. Looking back on everything that has happened, I realized that it was a blessing in disguise. It was a wake-up call, a reminder that I need to take care of myself first and foremost. It was also a lesson in the importance of setting boundaries and standing up for what I believe in. I'm still healing, but I'm also stronger than I've ever been. I've learned to trust my instincts, and I've learned to say no. I'm no longer the naive, gullible girl that I used to be. I'm a woman who knows her worth, and I'm not going to let anyone take that away from me.